You are listening to Naked Soul Reflections, Mindful Moments for Clothes-Free Living, with your host, Hantu Nehart.
Greetings everyone, Hantu Nehart here, and I welcome you to another round of Naked Soul Reflection. In this week's segment, I want to share some thoughts I've been having about truth and being responsible for my own path. This comes as a result of taking class with one of my teachers recently, just this past weekend, and also from a book that I'm currently reading, from which I'll share a brief excerpt. In class, the teacher really encouraged us to listen to our bodies and to make wise choices for ourselves. And she said something to the tune of, she can't speak truth for us. So, of course, she can hold space for us to explore various poses and to be in flow, but it's actually our individual responsibilities to determine what it is we need on a given day. And she really connected that with listening to our breath. So in a particular pose, whether you take an adaptation with the knee down or you go into a full expression, listening to what the body needs in terms of, say, where does the breath stop? And what variation do you need to take in order to breathe, in order to still the mind? And this past week, I had a few classes in my own practice where I had to take a rest in child's pose and just spend some time breathing because I could not breathe in other variations or expressions of certain poses. And these are poses that normally I can do, but for whatever reason, my body and my thoughts, it was a hot mess. My thoughts were all over the place. It felt like there was just a stadium full of people screaming in my head. And then there were also times when my body itself was just feeling exhausted and depleted. And so I had to really think about that. Am I going to make the choice to be responsible for my health? And in the wisdom of the sound of my breath and my breathing patterns, will I make a change so that I can be in my truth? And I often find that challenging to do because there is a part of me that's like, I want to do everything, I want to get it, I want to be strong, and strong looks like this, and it means being up and out and open and crazy all the time. And that is very much a growing place for me, where strength and being powerful and being strong is not just about doing the most complicated things in life. That is very much a current practice for me right now. Something that's very close to my heart that I'm really, I'm standing in the face of it. And so to be willing to say, I'm going to put my knee down no matter what I think and no matter what anyone else might possibly think, even if it ruins my chances at teaching or doing something, I am going to put my knee down because this is the truth. And it was powerful and yet challenging at the same time. But that teacher's words really stayed with me because I and I alone am connected to that truth inside of me at the most intimate levels. And so much of my life, I've been waiting for someone to tell me what to do, waiting for loved ones in the family, guardians, teachers, friends, strangers, whomever, to tell me what the right thing is to do. What does powerful mean? I was waiting for someone else to give me the definition. What does it mean to be strong? What does it mean to be present? What does it mean to be good, to be healthy, to be whole? I was waiting for other people to tell me, hanging out like, doo-doo-doo. When is somebody gonna tell me what I'm supposed to be doing? And no one can do that. No one can tell me at the deepest level what that truth is. I can always ask for thoughts and perspectives and feedback, but I can't sit around waiting. I still have to do the inquiry at a deep, deep level and then be brave enough to actually choose and act in a way that supports that truth. And so I'd like to share with you an excerpt from a book that kind of goes along these lines. The book is called Health, Healing, and Beyond, Yoga and the Living Tradition of T. Krishnamacharya, written by his son TKV Desikachar with R.H. Cravens. And the excerpt is actually something that Desikachar cites, some remarks that were given by one of his students, Krishnamurti, in 1929. Krishnamurti said, "I maintain that truth is a pathless land, and you cannot approach it by any path whatsoever, by any religion, by any sect. Truth being limitless, unconditioned, unapproachable by any path whatsoever, cannot be organized, nor should any organization be formed to lead or to coerce people along any particular path. If you understand that, then you will understand how impossible it is to organize a belief. A belief is a purely personal matter, and you cannot and must not organize it. If you do, it becomes dead, crystallized. It becomes a creed, a sect, a religion to be imposed on others. This is what everyone throughout the world is attempting to do. Truth is narrowed down and made a plaything for those who are weak, for those who are only momentarily disconnected. Truth cannot be brought down. Rather, the individual must make the effort to ascend to it. You cannot bring the mountaintop to the valley. If you would attain to the mountaintop, you must pass through the valley, climb the steeps, unafraid of the dangerous precipices. You must climb upwards to truth. I maintain that no organization can lead man to spirituality. The moment you follow someone, you cease to follow truth. I am concerning myself with only one essential thing: to set man free." And as I read that, and in my sharing with you in this segment, I'm not going to get into any sort of complicated discussions. The thing that I took away from that is that I have to be committed to the continuous exploration of truth. That speech was very much about it very much spoke to religions, sects, and these things being imposed on others. And yet, as I read it, I thought, how often do I impose that on myself? On myself. How often do I sit around waiting, going to people, to things, to whatever, even to yoga, looking for a concrete answer to my questions? How often do I do that? And how often do I, once I get these moments of revelation and this is it, Do I cling to that as a truth to last forever? So maybe the truth today is that I don't eat cherries. I don't eat cherries today. But that doesn't mean that that truth is the case tomorrow, is the case next week, is the case 20 years from now. The truth is always alive and breathing, and I have to be in a continual relationship with it, a continuous inquiry. What is the truth now? What is the truth now? Is this job the truth? Is this particular yoga path the truth? Are these clothes the truth? Maybe I'll wear something different tomorrow. Is it the same thing 5 weeks from now? These are all things that I have to take accountability for and be responsible for being in a constant inquiry. What is the truth for me today? And me waiting for the okay from these teachers or other people, that's not doing anything. That's not leading me into an honest connection. And so I share that with you as a question on offer for your week. Are there places in your life where you're waiting for someone to tell you what to do? Or have you yourself clung to a particular idea that was true some time ago that is no longer true now? I mean, I'll tell you myself, I have this question both for my career where I do my day job, and I'm having this question in my yoga journey. You know, the yoga that I started. Is that the truth now? Is the career path that I'm on the truth now? All these things had a purpose, and we never know how long. Sometimes the purposes actually are meant to last a lifetime, and some of them are just a few seconds, and we never know. And is it for us to know? It's this constant inquiry. And this inquiry is one of the reasons I really appreciate my clothes-free life. Because, and I really get present to this when I spend time clothes-free outside in my secret spot where no one ever goes. It reminds me that I can be a blank canvas. And that I can begin it again at any point, whether it's begin every day, a new day, the next hour, 2 minutes from now. I can step back, put everything down, take everything off, and ask the question, what is the truth right now? Am I still wearing something from the past that is no longer true? And can I take that off? And then try putting on something else and see if that fits. It requires such a commitment. It's a very challenging thing to do. You know, we talk about clothing, but daring to take off these comfortable habits, these comfortable things that even if they're miserable, they're familiar. And that familiarity provides a certain level of comfort. And the inquiry of it demands such a courage to be willing to take off the necktie of I define myself as this. These are the shoes I always wear to work. This is the thing that I always eat for dinner. I always go to this church at this time. This is the yoga that I do at this one place. This is the job that I've always had, and da-da-da-da-da. To dare to even question it and to put it down and see yourself and ask the question of what is true now. Such a daring practice, and yet critical. And so I offer that to you, even as I do it myself. It's a very scary thing to do, and it's not easy. But if you're taking it on, know that you're not alone, because I'm sweating bullets as I ask these very questions of myself, friends. So I'm with you on it. Just looks different. But it's the same practice. That inquiry. So spend some time this week. I'm going to be doing it too. What is true for you? Are you wearing the bracelet of a habit that is no longer true? Are you wearing the socks of a particular habit? And what would it feel like to take those off? Do those socks no longer serve you? What else in your life no longer serves you? I mean, a very simple example of this is that even in my coffee, I've noticed that I just don't need that much sweetening. I used to put a ton of sweeteners and honey and all this stuff in it. I don't feel like confessing all those things to you all right now. No, don't ask. But I used to put all this stuff in it, and my taste buds have been changing as I've been changing other aspects of my diet. Simple things like drinking lemon water, like taking actual lemons and putting it in my water, has started to shift my cravings. And so I put all this stuff in my coffee the other day, and I was like, that is way too sweet. Ugh, I just don't need all that. But I had been wearing that dress, those pants, all this time of doing my coffee that particular way all the time, predictable. And I was like, that is actually no longer true. I do not even want all of that junk in my coffee anymore. I just don't. It's no longer true. So it could be something as simple as that. You don't even have to, if it is true for you to broach bigger life issues, of course. But sometimes it's also just something simple like, I really don't need salted cashews. The other day I got salted cashews and I was like, this is disgusting. That was the first time I had that reaction to salted cashews. I usually crave the salt, and I was like, this is disgusting. Same cashews, by the way. Same exact cashews. No desire for all the salt anymore. Just out of the blue. So let's be in that inquiry together this week. Being courageous enough to ask ourselves the question, what's no longer true? Even if it's something tiny. This ponytail is no longer true. This buzz cut is no longer true. And finding a kind of peace and freedom. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for me and for you. Namaste, my friends. Namaste.